marker, scissors, pliers, a row of scalpels, all different sizes. The water was freezing, and my hands were puffy and sore as I dried them. I wished I had some gloves and a thicker waistcoat and a scarf I could wrap around my neck and tie a knot in. I put his wallet and keys on one side to give to the widow. Everything else I piled in a basket to be burned or given to the poor, all except that bottle of ale, which one of the porters would probably have, not minding it had been in the pocket of a dead man bobbing around in the Thames. I rinsed it off in the sink and noticed something written on the label. I squinted closer and could make out a single word: mercy. Seemed like an odd thing to write. The bottle was still full, so perhaps it was a plea to the demon drink, a final attempt at abstinence, or maybe an offering to God, a prayer for forgiveness. Either way, it hadn't been answered. Almost over now, Jack. The needle pushed easily through the pelt of his chest as I made the first stitch. When I was finished, I wheeled him back to the mortuary and went to find Pallet, the lad the police had sent for their copy of the report. In the early evening, the hospital was subdued. This was my favourite time, when most of the doctors and surgeons had gone home and the nurses could relax, and no one barking at them to fetch more splints or shine a light just there. No, not there, there. I could hear voices from the men's ward, a low babble broken by the occasional whoop when three of a kind beat two pairs. They were waiting for their supper. Later on, when they'd had their fill, they would get livelier. Disagreements could turn nasty. It wasn't unknown for someone to die of something other than what they came in with and end up in one of my reports. I found Pallet at the nurses' station, which was a desk, a blackboard, and a collection of cupboards behind the main entrance. Nurse Cofton looked up and smiled. She had a calm gentility, as if she was a lost duchess from some faraway land. "Is it him you want?" She pointed with her pen at Pallet, who was slouching against the wall looking uncomfortable. "He's been mooning about waiting for Cecilia. Nurse Rasmussen, that is." Pallet went red, right to his ears. "I'm not," he said. "I have to wait somewhere, don't I?" "He's got a uniform now," she continued, angling her pen up and down to sum it up. "He thinks she'll be impressed." It was new to him, but not new. His helmet perched atop his head like a cherry on a cake, and that jacket had been worn by a good many men. It was too small for his substantial frame, with mismatched buttons and a stain that might have been blood. But still, it marked his ascension from trainee to the ranks of Her Majesty's Constabulary. At the third attempt, a day I'd begun to doubt would ever arrive. He was an honest lad, but no prodigy. They didn't send their best men to fetch reports on drowned drunks from the likes of me. I read it to him, which took all of 1 minute. "The family's in the chapel," Nurse Cofton pointed with her pen again, studying us over the bridge of her spectacles. "The widow will be wanting to know." "Isn't it the hospital's job to tell her?" Pallet protested. "This wasn't a crime." "No, he was examined at the request of the coroner. It's your responsibility, not ours." "What would Miss Rasmussen think?" He wilted. "But I don't know what to say." "Say it was an accident. Say he fell in the river and there was no crime. He wasn't clubbed on the head or robbed. That's what they'll want to know. And give them these," I said, "keys and wallet, and tell them he didn't suffer any pain." "Is that true?" "Probably not, but they'll be comforted." He nodded and stroked his moustache. For all his size, he was a feeble wisp of a thing. I could have done better myself. "Drowned, not clubbed on the head. No crime, no pain." "That's it. Good man." He still didn't move. Nurse Cofton and I exchanged a glance. "I have paperwork," she said. I sighed and turned to Pallet. "All right, I'll come with you, Constable, but you're doing all the talking. And take off that bloody helmet, for goodness sake." Pallet did so, clutching it to his chest. "Much obliged, Mr. Stanhope," he said. "You're a proper gentleman." The chapel was at the back of the hospital, a white-walled room with a painted cross and pews that were creaky and prone to collapse, cast off.